Be uncomfortable, get uncomfortable. Literally take every single opportunity that you have to step out of your comfort zone and run. Do not walk, but run toward that direction. I say this coming from the perspective of literally attending an event that no one in my campus, my like surrounding colleges went to, but it was offered. Hear me out. A few days ago, I got this invitation that said, hey, throw your name into this raffle to see if you can win a free prize as like a free ticket to go to this like entrepreneur competition event. So I was like, yo, that'd be cool. I hope I can get it. Throw my name in it, okay? Don't think much about it. I'm like, there's gotta be other students that want it. Literally, the main professor emailed me and said, hey, Emma, you're the only one who signed up. Here's a free ticket. And I was like, say less. And that day was today. So I drive my happy butt after classes today. This was like from 5 to 7:30. And I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna stay for an hour, walk around, talk with people, ask them. Yo, that turned out to be probably the best thing that I've done this entire semester. I talked to, let me think, someone who does type like ethnic hair, like very curly and coily hair. Someone who makes melatonin tablets to sleep. A big like gym corporation, like for like our area. I'm trying to think who else. I listened to this guy who was selling like seats. I left. And then I ended up talking with this guy, and I was like eating my food and just like being like, what brought you here? And he was like, well, my wife, she is starting this company. I literally couldn't tell you what it was. I was like, oh, cool, something with healthcare. And then I was like, okay, I was thinking in my head, this conversation isn't going anywhere. I don't know what to talk about. And this other guy comes in. Let's call him Sir. And he literally had the background of a firefighter, mechanical engineer, and a creator. He said he liked to tinker a lot. And he told me about all of his background of him wanting a specific tool because his current tool wasn't good enough. And he needed a better item to be able to literally be a firefighter. And that same concept of building something that brought value to them, in addition to other people finding their target audience, was literally the connector to every single entrepreneur that I talked with this evening. One was a nurse practitioner. She has Crohn's, and she made melatonin gummies that were able to, one, help her, and two, she could recommend to her patients. And then the other lady that I talked with was a part of the gym. She started off as a member and then is now an employee. She started just because she loved doing it. And then I talked to an organizer who was always this way. She always loved being very organized and was a dental hygienist for 22 years. And then slowly crept her way into being a full-time organizer. And the lady working as a nurse or as a gym instructor was a cheerleading coach and a realtor. And then, yeah, I mean, there are so many different aspects to that. And every single one of them told me that they finally stepped out of their own head and finally began doing what they loved. And that is why they were at that competition tonight. I don't know any of them personally. And I feel like the one that I voted for was for the cultural like hairstyling. And I voted for her because it was just so amazing to see somebody who was so dedicated to that and who learned how to do her hair, went to school for it, and also went to a business but didn't finish her business degree. And right out when she got out of cosmetology, or I think college she said, or university, she opened up her business right away and didn't even think about it. And now she has 6 people working for her. 3 are a barber, and I think 2 including herself, or 3 including herself, are hair cosmetologists. And her specialty is in like silk pressing. And it's all because she stepped out of her comfort zone. She moved out of that big city to come to this place where she can thrive. She can bring that community. She can bring that, her resources that she has, to a place that needs it the most, because she brings value. If none of those creators finally stepped out of their comfort zone to do what they wanted to do and pursue, they wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have been as passionate as what they were doing. They wouldn't be as fulfilled as what they're doing currently. And I asked the one lady who was a dental hygienist for 22 years and worked part-time to do her part-time job as well, or her side hustle, I should say. And then once her daughter got into like secondary school or like high school, she finally was able to go full-time with it and is now doing that full-time and has another person on her payroll. And you know, it's moments like that when you take that leap of faith. I asked probably literally all of them, what was the moment that you knew that you wanted the leap of faith to do it? And they were like, they all said they were so scared, but they knew it was that time. And particularly I asked the organizer, how long ago did you start your business? And she was like, 2023. And I was like, do you wish you would have started it sooner? And she was like, no. She's in her 40s. And that's just to show you and to be an example that it's never too late, that you too can do it, that you don't have to be some 20-year-old who makes $1 million, billion, jillion dollars at such a young age from day trading. No shade, no hate, just a real life example. But nor do you need to be Bill Gates, who is swimming in dough at the age of like whatever, you know? You and I can share that same characteristic and trait and belief and mentality that millionaires have, that billionaires have, is 1, self-belief, and 2, the willingness to start. And I guess the 3rd one is not being afraid to start. Because the gentleman that I talked to originally, guy number 1, the one that I was like, this combo isn't going anywhere, he ended up talking with Sir, and he was like, my wife kept talking about this. I think they were down, I don't even remember, from like Midwest or from South, I don't know. Regardless, they were from their area, and she was talking about always starting this and doing this and whatever, but she kept thinking of things and yada yada. Then they moved here, and the husband was like, no, we're not talking about this, we're not griping about it, we're starting it. And then she started it. And the same thing goes for you and I, that once we can creep out of our comfort zone and then run that direction that you feel most uncomfortable, you're gonna thrive and you're gonna strive. Thrive. You're gonna thrive. You're gonna thrive, and you're gonna survive. Then you're gonna live. Then you're gonna thrive. And during that survival, I cannot tell you how long that'll be. That could be weeks. That could be days. That could be months. That could be years. I mean, who knows? Unless you try. And I think what it comes down to is, wouldn't you say that at least you tried rather than you wish you tried? Food for thought.